No, welcome. Okay. Sorry for this out of order welcome. I forgot that I was supposed to do this and sat down. So my name is Crystal Robinson and my pronouns are she, her. I'm a member of your UUI transition team. If you are here for the first time, thank you for joining us. We look forward to getting to know you. We invite everyone present in the sanctuary today to join our in-person coffee hour immediately following the service. During our service, there is a time for sharing the joys and sorrows of our lives with one another. Cards for sharing your joys or sorrow are on the table by the entrance, the back table there by the entrance to the sanctuary. We ask that you pick them up and fill them out prior to that section of our service. Community is one of our 4 core values. This means that we love and care for each other while providing opportunities for fellowship and personal growth. We strive to be a welcoming community for spiritual growth, moral reflection, social action, and religious education. We are so glad that you are here with us today. We hope you find the service inspiring and meaningful.
Good morning. I am Maria Renner, and my pronouns are she and her. I'm honored to serve our congregation today as worship associate. Whoever you are and whomever you love, you are welcome here. Whether you worship many gods, one God, or no God, you are welcome here. And whether you danced in on little feet, strolled up, rolled up, or zoomed in, you are welcome and celebrated here at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Indianapolis. A lit chalice is the symbol of our tradition, serving as a beacon of hope. And this morning we are inviting Elena Robinson to come and light the chalice. As we light our chalice in the sanctuary, I invite those on Zoom to light a chalice or a candle and to type your location in the chat. Our chalice lighting and opening words today are by Pat Uribe Lichty. We light our chalice today knowing that our hope and our passion are needed to change the world. We bring different gifts to the work, but we come together in one faith. That what we do makes a difference, both to our world and in ourselves.
Please rise in body or in spirit as we join together and sing hymn number 1007 in the Singing the Journey hymnal. There's a river flowing in my soul.
Would you please now join me in saying our covenants, which is also in your bulletin. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. This is our covenant. And now we're going to say our covenant in Spanish. El amor es el espíritu de esta iglesia, y el servicio es su ley, vivir juntos en paz, buscar la verdad en el amor, y ayudarnos unos a otros. Este es nuestro pacto.
Please be seated. Our congregation is a lively community with many opportunities to participate. Here are a few announcements for today, but please check your order of service, our e-blast, and our RE newsletter for more. Today, our service honors the Our Whole Lives program. an award-winning, life-spanning sexual health and wellness curriculum we developed in cooperation with the United Church of Christ. And we are delighted today to open registration for our K through 1 and adult OWL programs beginning in January. We are very excited about both of these classes, which are tailored to the ages and stages of their participants, and we're so grateful to the congregants who participated in 25 hours of training so they could facilitate OWL. Yep. So at the back of our sanctuary, right over near the tech booth, you will see a table that I hope you will visit after the service so that you can find out more about OWL, register. You can also find those links in the RE newsletter and in the e-blast this week. And if you would be so kind, please be sure to share our social media posts about OWL as well. I also am excited to announce that our Taste of Theology group will meet this Wednesday, December 11th at 6:30 p.m. at Chiang Mai Thai Noodle in Broad Ripple. Thank you.
Now let us enter into the time in our service where we share the joys and sorrows of our lives with one another so that they may be held in community. As the music plays, I invite people in the sanctuary to come up and drop a stone into the bowl if something is on your heart today. Please use both sides of the table. If you have written your joy or sorrow on a card, please leave it in the basket at the table and it will be read aloud. Please note that the cards are by the entrance, the very back towards the sanctuary, for easy pickup when you come in. For those of you on Zoom, we invite you all to use the chat feature. Please put in all caps either joy or sorrow, plus your name and pronouns at the beginning of what you are sharing if you would like me to read it out loud in the sanctuary. You can also symbolically drop a stone into the bowl by typing drop stone or just DS into the chat. Let us now share our joys and sorrows. these are the joys and sorrows from this morning. The first is from Sarah. She loved decorating cookies yesterday with the UUI youth. They will be having a bake sale during coffee hour to raise money to purchase items for the UUI Giving Tree. She is so proud of them. The next one is from Linda. Our grandson Kenyon still needs good energy that he will get lungs. Our son-in-law Lincoln is in the ICU with RSV. The next one is from Savvy. I started making Christmas presents for my family. And Poppy shares that Amelia turned 4 this week and is growing in her bravery, compassion, and independence. Patrick shares that my brother's dog of 11 years passed away yesterday. Despite his enormous size, he was always a gentle soul. Zeke will be missed. And William shares that I love my mom and daddy. I wish they were here at church with me. Though they might not be shared today, we know there are many more joys and sorrows that remain in our hearts and on our minds. Let us pause now for a moment of prayer and meditation. Blessed be, and amen.
Good morning, beloveds. I hear joy in this church this morning. Can you hear it? Makes me so happy. So this is a part of our service when we share a story for all ages, and if you are the kind of person who likes to get up close and personal when that happens, please feel free to join me on the floor up here, but it's totally up to you. So, I don't know if anybody checked their mailboxes, but we have these funky owl bookmarks in here today, and there are always extras on the RE shelf, so if you are a visitor, you can go to the RE shelf after the service, and there's some goodies over there for you. But this one is about owl. It's called Stuff We Owl Should Know, right? Because like, who could resist a pun in a UU church? Nobody. But the reason that I gave these to you is because I think you already know some of the stuff on here, but you might have friends and neighbors who do not. So this is something I want you to lose. You can lose it at the library, you can lose it at the bus stop, you can give it to a friend, whatever you want to do, okay? But that's one way that we share the things that we care about in Unitarian Universalist spaces. And since we believe in the worth and dignity of every person, we want every person to know about the care and keeping of themselves and to know that they are special. And that is something that we learn in OWL. So, the story I want to share with you today is called Neither. And this is a story that we use, I'm going to scoot back a little bit. This is a story that we use in our K through 1 OWL program. And there are other books in there that have to do with human bodies and how they work, and we don't always share those in church because people who are in OWL classes choose to be there and they sign up to be there, right? But this is one that we can share at any time, and it's called Neither, and it's by a UU named Airlie Anderson. So I love this story. Once upon a time, there were two kinds, this and that. These and those. One or the other. Until, I don't know if you can see, but there's a little egg cracking down there by the bottom. Honk! What kind are you? I'm both. You can't be both. You must be neither. I'm neither? Neither tried to play a this game. You can't play with us, you're not rabbity enough. Neither tried to play a that game. You can't play with us, you're not birdie enough. I myself am not very birdie, so that would have been rough for me. So why, we're all not birdie enough, Nathan? Maybe. Why don't you find somewhere else? You're not one of us, you're neither. Neither, neither, neither. But I do notice the landscape changing. Interesting. Where did you come from? Honk! I'm from the land of this and that, but I'm neither, so I'm looking for somewhere else to fit in. This isn't somewhere else, but you will fit in here. Where is here? The land of all. So many different kinds. Come play with us. But I'm different from everybody here. I'm neither red, nor orange, nor yellow, nor blue. Exactly. Excuse us. We're from the land of this and that, but we don't fit in at home. We were looking for somewhere else. But you said I was neither. You said I should go somewhere else. Well, this isn't somewhere else. This is the land of all, and everyone fits in here. Once upon a time, there were many kinds. This and that, somewhat and whatnot, either and very, sort of, just, rather, a little, neither, and both. And all were welcome. So, I cannot read it again right now because we have other people waiting to speak, but I love the energy, and the book will be up here during coffee hour if anyone wants to take another look at it, and after that it will be in the K through 1 OWL room. So, here's a weird one. Prepare to have your minds blown. You are being sung out to RE, but I'm staying here. Doesn't often happen. So, I am staying here because I'm leading parts of the service after you go. We're singing you out to RE. May your minds be open to new learning. May your lips bring truth into the world. May your heart
in here.
Hello, everybody. My name is Sarah Grain, and I usually do these things kind of off the cuff, but I prepared something today to read to you guys that I wrote about just being a part of the Our Whole Lives program as a parent. I probably will go off script a little bit, and so, you know, I'm a crier, so I'll probably cry a little bit too. I love that we're doing a service that celebrates our whole lives. And for those of you who aren't aware of it, it's, you know, it's a program that was started kind of by UUs, but it has kind of blossomed and welcomes all, of course. And just kind of preparing youth for being okay with talking about their bodies and talking about their wants and their dreams and understanding what consensual activity means, understanding just identity and answering that big question, who am I? So I have one child who is a freshman, and she's already been through the OWL program, and 2 middle schoolers that are currently in the OWL program. And what I would like to kind of start out by saying is that OWL is complex. Some kids love it, and some kids not so much. Some kids are engaged in the material, super talkative when they get home, opinionated and vocal about their beliefs and hopes for the future. And some kids, well, they don't really know what to think. They are mortified to participate in group discussions, definitely do not want to talk about it with their parents or siblings when they get home. Despite the open format of OWL, the fun activities, the inclusive material, and the peer bonding, it can still be an incredibly uncomfortable experience. I believe that OWL is very important for this very reason. The discomfort, the paralysis, the inability to find one's voice, and the resistance to express one's desires, well, I want this to happen in my children's life now. Not when they are already sexually active and potentially finding themselves in compromising or murky situations. I want them to begin finding their way in that discomfort now, so that later on, they can easily find their way out of it. I wish I had this growing up. I really do. Only now am I discovering in myself what I believe OWL gives these kids the chance to understand. The world is changing, and the OWL of this generation will be so incredibly different from the OWL of their kids or great-grandkids' generation. But that's what's so perfect about it. It keeps evolving, it keeps changing, new material keeps being incorporated, and every time, like when we started OWL, there was a parent orientation. And before even starting to talk to our kids about these things, they ask us, what do we think needs to be in there? What are our kids talking about at home that needs to be included in this? Because they don't have all the answer, and it changes so rapidly, right? But that's what's so beautiful about it. It's ever evolving. So they focus a lot in UU in the RE programs about belief systems and about these belief systems that are being formed in our kids. And the truth is, every minute of every day, our kids are forming their belief systems. They are being informed in a million tiny ways about their worth and power in this world, and they're getting that messaging from everywhere. Their families, their friends, the media. Only a small portion of OWL is actually focused on the physical activity of sex. The bulk of the curriculum is focused on identity, individual agency, self-love, and respect. So, whether I can see it on the surface right now or not, these lessons are taking root in my kids, doing its work deep below the surface, and helping them sort out that great question, who am I?
Good morning. I'm John Cornell, he, him, and we are your adult OWL facilitators for a program coming up starting this January. Also, Felicia Huff, would you like to come up, or are you? I'm sorry, Felicia. Yeah, okay, all right. So we're your team together with Felicia of Adult AL Facilitators.
That got exciting. Hi, I'm Ryan Robinson, and my pronouns are he, him.
And I'm Maria Renner, and my pronouns are she and her.
And you're Sarah Cannon. You're also a facilitator.
Just back here in the shadows, pay no mind.
Nothing behind the curtain except a wizard. We're going to lead you through an exercise. This would be structured as a group discussion in an AL orientation for parents and guardians, or for adults taking an adult class. However, in this very large group setting, we'll do it as a meditation. So settle in, get comfortable in your space, close your eyes if that feels good to you, or participate to your level of comfort. Then take a couple of deep breaths. In and out. In and out. Listen and sift through your memories with us. Most of us, myself included, receive some form of sexuality education at home, at school, from the media, or in a religious community. In many instances, the quality of our sexuality education was poor. Mine was. So we don't always have good role models for talking with our children about sexuality, or even as adults with our partners or friends. Some of us have picked up internal narratives about sexuality that may not be in alignment with our values, but which can be hard to shake off.
So we're going to ask you to think about some of the messages you got about these topics from media, family, and friends. What messages did you get about your own body, including the sexual parts? About touch and the human need for affection? About gender roles, how different genders should behave? About loving and intimate relationships? About dating and sexual attraction? When it was okay to engage in sexual behavior? About sexual pleasure? About sexual responsibility, preventing unplanned pregnancy, and avoiding sexually transmitted infections? If you could sum it up in one phrase or sentence, what message did you get about sexuality from your family? Take a moment to consider, is that message one you agree with today? What was the journey to where you are now like? What difficulties did you encounter along the way? If your eyes are closed, you may open them now.
Messages we receive in our upbringing can have a positive or negative impact on our continuing ability to be sexually healthy and as we mature as adults. Avoiding conversations about sexuality implies that the topic is not really right for discussion. Meanwhile, other sources are filling that vacuum.
As a kid, I learned about sexuality every day. Whenever I received messages about my gender, about the worth of my own body, about my family, or about babies and how they grow. I received messages from many sources, including teachers, friends, especially friends, older siblings, other caretakers, and media. Thus, there's really no choice as to whether to teach about sexuality. It's already happening, whether we acknowledge it or not. But we do have the opportunity to choose how we teach about it. Are the messages that we share open and positive so that people will feel good about their bodies, about being who they are, and about the parents, guardians, and other trained folks who are willing to answer their questions? Is the information we share true and accurate to the best of our knowledge?
This is what inspired Unitarian Universalists to create sexual health and wellness curricula, what led the United Church of Christ to partner with us in these efforts, and why we receive regular inquiries from outside of our community about OWL programs. Thank you for supporting the work of OWL in our congregation.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Shelby Irvin, and my pronouns are she, her. And I'm going to share a little bit about my experience as a newly trained OWL facilitator. So over the years of being a member here at UUI, I had heard about OWL in little bits and pieces, from a mention about it here, comments from past facilitators there, and I thought, gee, that's a cool thing that we do, among many, many cool things we do here at UUI. I tucked it away in the back of my brain as a goal for future Shelby, that I wanted to get trained to be a facilitator. Well, that day came a lot sooner than I thought. When Sarah put out a call for folks interested in getting trained about 6 months ago, I took the plunge and signed up for facilitator training for the K1 and 4-6 grade levels. My experience with OWL is still limited because we're just getting ready to begin the K1 session, which will be my first facilitator experience. But I did the 25-hour, 3-week facilitator training class in October, and let me tell you, I am so excited for what's to come. The experience I've had of learning about the OWL curriculum, learning how to present the information in factual and developmentally appropriate ways, learning how massively intentional and inclusive the curriculum is, and beginning to unlearn my own biases and the way I was taught about puberty and sexuality as a kid has already been transformative for me. I can only begin to imagine the impact that actually entering this journey with the kids and actually going through the class together with them, what that impact is going to be like on me. But as transformative as I trust this journey will be for me, and what a privilege it will be to do this work with youth, that's not why I chose to be a part of the OWL program. It's because I believe in this program. I want this program to exist and for this experience to be available and this information to be provided for kids in a way that is safe, loving, accepting, and factual, in a way that it was not for me growing up. This is my way of trying to do something better. Consider this. The K1 OWL curriculum is grounded in 3 values: respect, responsibility, and relationships. Don't we need more of all of those in the world? And I'll leave you with another thought. OWL is not politically neutral. It provides factual information, but its mere existence, its radical inclusivity, it stands in defiance of some frighteningly prevalent political viewpoints, especially now, especially after this last election. It's more important now than ever that we support this ministry. So getting involved with OWL is my way, just one way, of creating the change I wish to see in the world in my small corner of the universe. And I am so deeply grateful that UUI sponsors this important work.
Yeah, I am so grateful that past Shelby has become future Shelby. really enthused about it. And I think that she brings up something really important, which is that people absolutely think of OWL as a 7th through 9th grade program because that's when parents and guardians tend to panic and thrust their children into sexual health and wellness courses. But this is in fact a lifespan program. And I'm so excited as your professional religious educator to have a chance to talk to you a little bit about it today. And there are some things that probably only your religious educator can tell you. So here I go. Last year, we offered 4th through 6th and 10th through 12th grade OWL. This year, we've got a 7th through 9th grade class in progress. Like literally right now, they're doing an LGBTQIA panel, and some of our facilitators are leading that, and heck, some of them are on it, and it's a busy time. And then by Memorial Day this year, we'll have completed K through 1 and an adult class. And this will be the first time adult OWL is run in this congregation and possibly in Indianapolis. And so that's an amazing accomplishment. To run every single level of OWL in a 2-year period is an awesome thing for a congregation to do. So, the educator in me demands to know, what have we learned so far today? We know that we're all receiving information about sexual health and wellness no matter what we do. We know that facilitators and parents think that OWL is the best program available. We know that the Our Whole Lives curriculum is something UUs in general are proud of. Let's go one step further. Maybe OWL is the most important justice work a UU congregation can do right now. And I can give you 3 specific reasons. First, OWL combats misinformation. We are surrounded by efforts to spread misinformation and restrict our access to the facts. In this election, we had local political candidates sending texts that were designed to look like they came from their opponent, and some of those texts were crafted to gin up negativity towards queer people. We've seen numerous bills proposed in our legislature intended to ban books, erase the lived identities of some students from the classroom and the curriculum, and isolate and control trans and non-binary students and their families. We know that this kind of behavior endangers kids. It is a statistical fact. And we're also unfortunately dealing with brain drain here in Indiana, as other programs and services are curtailed and as medical specialists who can no longer serve their patients effectively are leaving the state. And we can chalk all of these problems and their consequences up to bigotry. Certainly some of it is. But we also know that Indiana schools are not required to teach sex education. When they do, they omit a lot of common sense subjects, and they focus specifically on abstinence. And we have known for a long time that abstinence-only sexual education does not work. Did you know that comprehensive sex ed actually tends to reduce sexual activity? OWL does present abstinence as an option, by the way. It just doesn't present it as the only option and then cause cognitive dissonance by like furtively handing out condoms. When we hand out condoms, we mean it. And we do. Comprehensive sex ed also reduces bigotry. It improves social, emotional, and communication skills. And I haven't just heard that from sexuality educators. I've heard it unsolicited from UU youth who have sat around a table at midnight on a Saturday night explaining to me that they wish every kid was required to take OWL before coming to a youth conference. And at the time, I first assumed that they felt this way because they were youth in leadership who regularly spoke to the rest of the youth community about avoiding the kinds of incidents that get cons shut down by adults. Cons tend to be safe havens for marginalized kids, and some of our youth protect that space really ferociously. So they're very clear, no hookups at cons. But no, they said, that wasn't what they meant this time. They said that OWL kids were actually better at participating in youth community, more nuanced in their perspectives, better at communicating in general, and they were better at handling and working out conflict. Wouldn't it be nice if we could spread those kinds of skills around the Indianapolis community? OWL also extends welcome. Folks who come to us through OWL can infer a lot about UUI as a community. Across the lifespan of this program, we consciously include depictions of healthy families, across gender, orientation, race, and ability. We specifically address what forms of birth control and protection against sexually transmitted infections will work for trans and non-binary people. We make sure participants know what it means to be born intersex and have a working understanding of some of the issues facing intersex people. We use gender-inclusive pronouns throughout the curriculum, and we address disability through the lens of self and through the lens of partner. Everything in an OWL room is meant to offer as wide a spectrum of representation as possible. From the anatomically correct baby dolls in the K-1 room to the banner currently hanging in the 7th through 9th room that reads, "No one's genitals look exactly like this." I love that banner so much. Another way we model inclusive community is by welcoming facilitators who span the spectrum of gender, orientation, and identity. So if you've been thinking to yourself that you'd be interested in facilitating OWL, but you worry that the kinds of think of the children biases you've observed in other faith communities might rear their heads here as well and shut you out, I'm here to tell you, OWL students need trustworthy mentors who serve as mirrors and windows for a myriad of lived experiences. And OWL programs need leadership from the margins in order to do their best work. I'm also very proud to be part of a congregation that cares about keeping OWL free or low cost to ensure it's socioeconomically inclusive. These things matter because they move beyond good intentions and affirmations into active practices. And that's what people need to see when they come to UUI. We could talk all day long about our social justice bona fides, and it wouldn't be 1/10 as convincing as participating in OWL. What we do is who we are. OWL also strengthens communities, and it creates communities. In OWL, we provide spaces to ask awkward questions without anyone knowing that you're the person who asked. But we also work really hard on creating an environment where anonymity feels less and less necessary over time. And one of the best and maybe even unintended consequences of that mindset is that later, when someone who took OWL is worried because maybe a grown-up's behavior didn't pass the vibe check, or they're not sure what consent looks like now that their partner of 30 years is experiencing memory loss, or something that we thought was settled law gets overturned and now they don't know how to access reproductive health care. They remember that their OWL facilitators tend to stay up to date about these things. They remember that they have a group of peers who went through OWL with them and might recall information they themselves have forgotten, or at the very least won't think they're weird for asking. Facilitators become a community of support to one another, which is why Ryan tried to get me up here when all the other facilitators were at the mic. So do parents and guardians. OWL is one of our best examples of what we call a community of communities. It's a healthy, boundaried, multi-generational network of mutual support. And because all of these participants have nuanced understandings of sexual health and wellness, they are ready to roll when they see people's rights being infringed upon. I'd like to take just a moment to share the names of past and present OWL facilitators at UUI. And if I miss anyone, I hope you'll let me know after the service, because these are folks we should honor. They are doing the work of Unitarian Universalism in deep and fundamental ways, especially the ones who are literally in OWL class as we speak, of which there are several. I know a few of us have also moved away over the years, but those who are here, please rise or give us a sign so that people can see you. Matt Bassett, Tom Bell, half the tech team is OWL facilitators today. John Cornell, Jack Brennan, Shelby Irvin, Felicia Huff, Dominique Levesque, Kunda Magana, Maria Renner, Shelley Rich, Ryan Robinson, Stacy Robinson, Kate Stevens, Tim Thomas, Joanne Smitty-Brush, Joe Smitty-Brush, Gregory Whitaker, Julia Whitaker, and Cindy Wilson. Thank you all for your service. I hope we will add many more names to that list in the coming years. OWL is special because it does its job with excellence, but it also transcends the topics it covers. It's a model for seeking out good information in every area of our lives, offering authentic welcome to all and creating communities of trust. So, I'm asking every person in this room to support Our Whole Lives as a vital ministry in a time when it's more relevant than ever. Because we're offering more OWL classes than we ever have before, we're interested in starting a support team, so you can still get involved with OWL if you're not a facilitator. You can also sign your family or yourself up for classes, and please spread the word so that people who need it, not just as a learning experience, but as a refuge where their experience is reflected, can find it. Post about it in parent groups and LGBTQIA groups. Sarah Grain has been doing amazing service in that regard. Take flyers from our information table today and give them to friends. In a landscape that can at times be very hostile to the UU values that Matt Russell led a service about last weekend, the ones we hold so dear, this is a simple, measurable thing we can do to care for our communities and speak truth to power. Thank you.
Sorry.
Every month, UUI gives half of the Sunday collection to a cause chosen by our Social Justice Committee. Today, the Share the Plate offering will go to Boulevard Place Food Pantry. They strive to meet the immediate basic physical needs of the most vulnerable in our communities. They accomplish this by providing food, clothing, transportation, shelter, and ultimately sustainable paths out of poverty to people who find themselves in need in our community. You can give on your smartphone by texting the dollar amount you would like to give in the word share to a phone number which is in the chat and in your bulletin. You can also give on our website at uui.org. Here in the sanctuary, ushers will come around to collect donations. The offering will now be gratefully received. May it be joyfully given. Thank you for your generosity. Our closing words today are from Andrea Hawkins Camper. May we see all as it is, and may it all be as we see it. May we be the ones to make it as it should be. For if not us, who? If not now, when? This is answering the cry of justice within the work of peace. This is redeeming the pain of history with the grace of wisdom. This is the work we are called to do, and this is the call we answer now. To be the barrier and the bridge, to be the living embodiment of our principles, to be about the work of building the beloved community, to be a people of intention and a people of conscience.
Please rise in body or in spirit as we join together in singing hymn number 1017, Singing the Journey of Building a New Way.
Please join me in our chalice extinguishing words on the screen and printed in your order of service. Now, we extinguish the flame of our chalice, but not the light of understanding, the warmth of compassion, or the fire of commitment. Let us keep those with us until we meet again. Go in peace.